Mahnomen County Sheriff Doug Creer joining us here today on Gold 1015 to give us the weekly report. Doug, nice to have you back in studio.
Good to be back.
Well, we're into the summer months. Things are starting to pick up here a little bit.
Yeah, they are. And this is going to be the week of June 10th through the 16th. Had a total of 118 calls for service and 44 reports were generated. Out of that, there were 13 arrests. 5 of those were on warrants, 4 on assault, 1 DWI, 2 drug-related, 1 disorderly conduct. There were 21 traffic stops made, 9 citations written, 5 for speed, 4 for other. There were 18 ambulance requests, 20 transports, 1 escape from custody, 2 threats, 1 recovered vehicle, 1 violation of court order, 7 alarms, 5 disorderly conducts, 5 assaults, 1 vehicle unlocked, 2 welfare checks, 1 animal complaint, 3 suspicious activity, 4 theft reports, 1 criminal damage property, 1 trespassing, 2 minor consumings, 4 motor vehicle accidents, and 3 miscellaneous assists. How that broke down, there was 1 in Bijou Township, 3 in Chief, 31 in City of Mahnomen, 1 in Clover, 1 in Gregory, 2 in Island Lake, 7 in Lagarde, 2 in Lake Grove, 5 in Little Elbow, 5 in Marsh Creek, 13 in the Village of Nadawash, 8 out of jurisdiction, 22 in Pembina, 3 in Popple Grove, 2 at Riverland, and 12 in Twin Lakes. And as far as reports for last week, on June 10th at 2:48 a.m., law enforcement responded to casino on a report of someone smoking something in a vehicle parked in a parking lot. When the officer talked with the driver, or the person in the vehicle, Andrew Swanson, 29 of Vadnais Heights, who was also sitting in the vehicle, he admitted to be smoking marijuana. When the officer searched the vehicle, he located some drug paraphernalia and a small amount of marijuana. Swanson was cited and released. Then on the 11th, the county attorney's office issued a warrant for Simon Percy, 31 of Minneapolis, who had taken off from treatment. Percy was furloughed to treatment after being charged with burglary in 2017. Then on the 12th, the sheriff's office received a call from a Marsh Creek resident reporting that there was a burning vehicle in his field about 4 miles north of Mahnomen and about 1.5 miles to the west off of 59. When the deputy arrived, the pickup was smoldering. The only identifying numbers were the first 5 digits of the VIN number, which was 1FTRX, and the last 4 of the VIN, which was 7999. Attempt to locate the owner was sent out through law enforcement agencies. Then on the 15th at 2:26 a.m., sheriff's deputies and law enforcement responded to the casino on a report of a hit-and-run motor vehicle accident. Officers was looking for a green Buick with white earth plates. The officer located the vehicle crossing Highway 59 and 200 and had stopped it in the Riverland Apartments. When the officer talked with the driver, Elijah Goodwin, 19 of Mahnomen, he noticed an odor of an alcoholic beverage. Goodwin admitted to being involved in the accident. After conducting field sobriety, Goodwin was arrested for DWI, minor consuming, processed and released to a sober person. A passenger in the vehicle, Sharon Sargent, 17 of Bagley, was also cited for minor consuming and released to a relative. Also on the 15th at 12:22 p.m., sheriff's deputies assisted Clearwater investigators with a search warrant at in Mahnomen County for stolen property. The deputies searched the residence where Larry Clark, 59 of Lingby, lives. Located were a number of power tools. A Browning 270 with a scope also was taken into custody. The sheriff's office is looking for Larry Clark, 54 of Lingby, as a person of interest. Then on the 16th at 3:27 p.m., law enforcement had located Thomas Turner, 27 of Nadawash, in connection with a theft at a store. When the officers ran a check on him, Turner was found to have outstanding warrants out of Becker County. When the officer was searching Turner, he found a small black case containing drug paraphernalia, 2 plastic bags containing what appeared to be heroin. Other charges are pending on Turner with the county attorney's office. And that is the reports for last week.
Well, we got a community picnic coming up here tonight right in the city of Mahnomen.
Yeah, that'll be at the mini park Tuesday. Today's the 19th. From 5 until 7 or 7:30. That will be at the mini park right across the street from Brueggemann's grocery store and across the street from the KC Hall. They're supposed to have food there, so everybody is encouraged to come along, and they're going to be teaching some other stuff while they're there too. Also, what happened this last weekend was breakfast on the farm. I got a chance to go up there. A lot of people up there. I got there just before the rain and left during the monsoon. There was a lot of water that dropped out there. But a good time. A lot of people showed up, and it was a good time. So,
I guess also something that we're dealing with in the area is some suspicious phone calls.
We are. In fact, I even got one. You and I were talking here a little bit ago about the one that you had. You have a warrant out of...
Yeah, four warrants. Didn't say out of where, just that
Oh.
wanted.
Well, here's what happens when they call in, and if you return the call. They'll tell you that there is a warrant for your arrest out of, and they'll pick a state, and the bail is whatever the amount that they say it is. Usually it's like $1,200, $1,500. And what they do is they want you to send a cash or send a money order or a transaction to a credit card. Now, what they do with that then is they'll take that money and move it to, say it's $1,500. They'll transfer that to another credit card, and then that to another credit card, and then that to another credit card. I did help somebody here a couple of years ago in town who had a similar incident, and I could trace it back to credit cards with the help of the federal government. But after that, it just got lost in the translations. So when you get a call, and in fact I got one last week from the IRS, told me that I owed $1,200. So what I did was I said, "Oh, I owe $1,200, huh?" And the caller said, "Yes, you do. How would you like to pay it?" And I said, "Well, both of us know this is a scam, and all right, let's play the game. How do you want this done?" And the guy hung up on me. They will try to get your money any way they can. Also, while I was out on breakfast on the farm, I talked with somebody out there who gotten a letter saying that they won $390,000. They were then supposed to cash the check. The check would be coming, cash it, return a portion back to them, and that was for handling fees and everything else, and then they could keep the rest. What happens there is if you cash the check and it turns out to be bad and you've already sent, we'll say, $5,000 back to them, all that money will come out of your checking account or your savings account. So the people that are sending it don't really care if you're out any money, and if it's at your last dime and you were saving it for a vacation or whatever. They just want their money, and they'll do it any way they can. Usually what they do is they target elderly. I have gotten a couple of calls where they're saying that their grandson, and they'll name their specific name, was picked up for a DWI. He's an attorney representing him. Embarrassed to call the family, didn't want his mom and dad knowing about it, so bail's $1,500. If you could send that to this account, and we can take care of it, and he can be released immediately. After the person did it, he called the family, and person never was picked up, hadn't even gone anywhere. We did recover about $1,000 out of the $1,500. I wasn't able to get the last $500, but I got a good chunk of it back. When you get these calls, especially from the IRS, or these letters saying that you've won a prize, first of all, IRS is going to send you a certified letter. They're not going to call you, especially in the evening, because federal government closes at 4. They're not going to do phone calls. They'll do, like I said, letters, and you will call them. As far as people knowing your grandkids' names, what they do is they'll look in the paper in obituaries. This is one example of how they do it. They'll look in the paper for obituaries, and they'll see the person is survived by children and then great-grandchildren of, and then they'll start naming names of the grandchildren, and that's how they usually get these names of your grandkids, or your kids, saying that they've been picked up and they need bail money. So don't believe them. First of all, if somebody needs bail money and you're picked up for a DWI, for example, we won't know the bail is until you go to court, because only the judge can set a bail. And everybody, if they're behaving, if they're arrested, will receive a phone call to call someone to let them know where they're at. So if you do get these things, don't give in, hang up on them, because all they are is scams, and please do not send them any money. That's not how the system works. So that's about it.
All right. Doug, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again next week.
We will.
Mahnomen County Sheriff Doug Creer this week on Gold 115.